Good morning, December the 9th. We're going to discuss in our series on Space for Grace, Nobodies like Phinehas. Now, Phinehas might bring back to memory words like plague and piercing, and rightly so. Phinehas was the son of High Priest Eleazar and grandson of Aaron. And the problem was, on the plains of Moab, 24,000 Israelites were dying of a scourge brought by God because of their fornication and attachment with the Baal of Peor. And to add to the problem and bring it to a climax, amidst the grief in the camp, the Israelite chieftain Zimri blatantly took a Midianite called Cosby into his tent. And here comes Phinehas at full speed. He acted quickly by entering the tent and piercing them both through. This zeal for God's holiness brought an end to the scourge, and it was considered to Phinehas, as righteousness. That's the account in the review account in Psalm 106, written much later. Verse 30. Then Phinehas stood up and interposed, and so the plague was stayed, and it was reckoned to him for righteousness to all generations forever. So he had a distinctive passion. The piercing through resulted in him being reckoned as righteous. He served in several capacities, including chief of the gatekeepers and high priest, but he became most noteworthy for this prompt, zealous action. In fact, on one of the notes we find in the Net Bible, it explains this Hebrew phrase, was zealous with my zeal. And it says, the repetition of forms of zeal in the line stresses the passion of Phinehas. The word zeal means a passionate intensity to protect or to preserve divine or social institutions. How would you describe yourself? Are you passionate in your godly hatred against idolatrous worship, idolizing other people, or even oneself? Or we could idolize or have a passion about some aspect of our fleshly desires. Well, in that case, we need the Lord's strength to pierce such through. Now, Zimri and Cosby were impaled, and the plague was halted. Jesus likewise was pierced. He was impaled for our transgressions like a criminal, our scapegoat, so providing a halt to the scourge of plague and sin to the world. Do you remember Isaiah 53 verse 3? He was pierced for our transgressions. The covenant of peace and eternal priesthood was made possible through Christ, who, like Phinehas, acted zealously and did God's will and turned God's wrath away from us. So the story of Phinehas is underwritten by the life and death, the piercing, the resurrection of Christ, who died and was pierced for your and my transgressions, so that we may enter into the eternal new covenant and be with the Lord forevermore. Let his name be praised.